Once again, everybody, I'm Craig DeGeorge, along with wrestling's living legend, Bruno Sammartino. Welcome once again to the Universal Wrestling Federation Fury Hour. A couple of new names coming to the UWF, very familiar names. First of all, Bruno, one of the Wild Samoans, one of the greats of all time, Afa, joining us on the program.
New in the UWF, but here's one of the really tough guys in professional wrestling. He's been around a while, and he's still as tough as they come.
You talk about excitement, Bruno. You talk about guys like Bam Bigelow, and yes, he will make his UWF debut here on the program.
Well, Bam Bigelow is a very unusual guy. He's the guy with the tattooed head. He's got tattoos all over his body, but he's a huge guy, around 400 and some odd pounds, and he moves like a lightweight. A very interesting guy and a very tough guy.
All right, a lot of other action to get to as well. Right now, let's get to Herb Abrams for tonight's card.
Craig and Bruno, the Fury Hour fans, are in for a dynamite hour of UWF wrestling, starting with the destructive Dr. Death, Steve Williams. Will showcase the wrestling savvy and tactical expertise of the very popular B. Brian Blair. The brutal tactics of the hated Power Twins go on display on this edition of the Fury Hour. In his UWF debut, Afa, the Wild Samoan, brings his years of wrestling experience to tonight's card. And in the feature match, Cowboy Bob Orton with his manager, John Tolis, the Golden Greek. He takes on the 390-pound veteran in his UWF curtain riser, the rugged Bam Bigelow. Lou Albano and the Captain's Corner is ready for another crazy excursion. And we'll find out what's on your mind with another installment of Ask the Rest.
Down the aisle from Lakewood, Colorado, weighing in at 285 pounds, Dr. Death, Steve Williams.
Dr. Death. Boy, look at him, huh? Just a big, powerful guy. 285 pounds, you know, he really well distributed weight.
He is a tough customer, no doubt, Bruno, and I am very excited, I know you are, for a big Fury Hour here, Universal Wrestling Federation action on Sports Channel America. Dr. Death, Steve Williams, certainly one of the roughest and toughest, going up against somebody known as Captain Bad.
Yeah, well, we'll find out just how bad he is, because he's going to have to be real bad in facing Dr. Death, Steve Williams. You know, this Steve Williams, a lot of people may not realize just what a powerful guy this guy is. This is a strong man. I mean, he practically, when you watch him against an opponent, it doesn't matter if it's a 280-pound guy, you literally can press him over the head like, you know, with the greatest of ease. Just exceptionally strong guy.
And not the kind of guy, Bruno, that takes it easy on anybody. I mean, there's rarely a let-up, even during the match, from Steve Dr. Death Williams. He likes to get the business taken care of. Good back body drop by Dr. Death. That's one of his punishing moves. And, of course, the big news with Dr. Death, he says it is time to end Paul Orndorff's career. And apparently they have signed now, Bruno, the big cage match coming up in a couple of weeks here on Sports Channel America. You will see it in its entirety. Dr. Death against Mr. Wonderful. It's been an ongoing feud, of course, Bruno. It has been some kind of story here in the UWF.
Indeed, Greg, but I'll tell you what, the cage will settle this issue once and for all. And you talk about two guys that hate each other, I'll tell you, Dr. Death and Paul Orndorff, these two really hate each other, and the cage will resolve this feud once and for all. But we have to wait a couple of weeks for that. Right now, we're watching Captain Bad taking a bad shellacking from Dr. Death himself.
I'll tell you what,
Williams.
Captain Bad may wish he was in a cage, because that would keep him from hitting that hard outside floor, that cement floor.
Look at this. Williams has got him up. He's going to press him and see what he does with him.
He's going to press him and throw him right back into the ring.
I had that feeling, just the way he was pressing so close to the ring. It looked like he was going to press him overhead and toss him in the ring, and he did. And now, of course, he's just going to punish him a little bit more, because Captain Death, to me, really looks like he's kind of out of it. He doesn't look like there's much left.
Yeah. But, of course, Dr. Death can do that to you as he scissors the leg trying to put away Captain Bad.
What makes Williams unique, in my opinion, is that he's got so many things going for him. Number one, we know that his size and strength, 285 pounds, exceptionally strong, very vicious. Everybody knows how vicious he is. But more than all of that is this guy is a great, great wrestler. As we know, his amateur background, which we've spoken about in the past out of Oklahoma, this guy was Olympic material. I mean, so what I'm saying is that this is a total package. He's got everything. I mean, he can wrestle. He can be extremely vicious, of course, which makes him so darn dangerous. And then he's so exceptionally strong, and he's got very good stamina with it and quickness. I mean, what more could you possibly, you know?
Yeah, you said it. He's got the total package. Talk about total packages coming up for you fans in the Florida area on April the 6th. That's coming up Saturday, 8 o'clock, War Memorial Auditorium in Fort Lauderdale. Part of the elimination matches for the UWF Television Championship to be held there. And then, of course, coming up on Sunday, April 7th at 1 o'clock at Universal Studios in Florida, the Orlando area. Got some great family prices for you if you happen to live in that area, or if you happen to have great timing and are planning a vacation down around Universal Studios. Please join us. It's going to be something else. 1 o'clock, Sunday, April 7th. And Bruno, you will be on hand. We will be calling the action.
Absolutely. But right now we're watching Williams with a one-leg crab on Captain Bad. And I'll tell you, as the cameras are showing right now, but he had it hooked with just one arm, which I didn't understand. Is he still got just one arm? He's got both arms. Because the way it is right now, well, it'll be surprising to me if Captain Bad doesn't give, because this is an extremely punishing maneuver.
And not only that, Bruno, he's taking a lot of shots throughout the match. You wonder if it's just adding up here at this point.
Now, what did he do? Just let him go?
He let him go there, but I think he wants to work back on that head in midsection.
Yeah, I think because he could have made him quit, because the way he had him, he could have made him quit. I think that he's just being a little sadistic and letting him go, knowing that he's done so much damage to the leg, and now he wants to toy with him and look at this and just punish him.
He doesn't just want a victory, Bruno Sammartino. He wants to punish. As you said, he's very vicious. And I don't think he wants the guy to say no.
But to his credit, look at Captain Bad here trying to come back here. Of course, there wasn't too much steam behind any of those blows that he just delivered because he's really weakened. But, of course, there's a lot of steam left with Williams yet, so his punch is a little different. And here comes a...
Look out here.
Big slam here.
What? That Oklahoma stampede. There he goes into the turnbuckle, and yes, sir.
That's one.
The other turnbuckle. You can almost see the UWF imprint in his back, and he takes him down with a power slam. And boy, oh boy, that's it. Oklahoma stampede to perfection by Dr. Death, Steve Williams. And you know, he will be planning one of those for Mr. Wonderful, Paul Orndorff, down the road.
That's right. Mr. Wonderful. A couple of weeks down the road. Right, the Beach Brawl, Bruno, June 9th in somewhere in Florida. I understand several cities and arenas are negotiating right now with the UWF, and we will find out in the coming weeks just where the Beach Brawl will be. But right now, let's talk about this man making his UWF debut. Bruno, one of the wild Samoans, Alpha. Look at that face. I mean, if that isn't enough to intimidate an opponent, I mean, I don't know what is. I mean, you're talking about a guy that weighs well over 300 pounds. Look at that face, that hair. I mean, hey, you know, he's battling. I think he's going to battle Carmine Albano. Now, if Albano is intimidated just by this man's appearance, he will be intimidated once Hoffa starts delivering those mighty blows, because he is an extremely tough, vicious man.
With that face that looks like a cheap Halloween mask. But it is not.
Don't let him hear you say that.
I don't know if he picks up Sports Channel. Does he get Sports Channel back in Samoa?
Well, I'll tell you what, I don't know, but he's something else. You know, he's got a brother, of course, that everybody knows, Sika, which they wrestle individually, and of course they wrestle as tag team at times. And these two guys, they are really brutal. I mean, they are. I've seen them eat like raw, you know, they love that raw fish, raw lobster. Just, I swear, sometimes you think that they eat the shell and everything. I don't know about these guys.
Yeah, I've seen these guys gnaw away at a fresh bluefish. Also it's a big wrestling family, though, Bruno, as you know.
Oh, I'll tell you, yes, indeed they come from a big wrestling family. But I'll tell you what, everyone in the family, they're all extremely tough, as I said. They certainly are well known throughout the world. And they've quite a reputation, and they can absorb. You know, you can take an opponent that can really deliver many blows to these guys, and they can absorb that punishment. They can really take an awful lot. It seems like they're immune to the big blows. They're extremely tough guys.
Alpha's opponent here is Carmine Albano, who will have his hands full indeed.
And Albano's a big guy. You look at him.
Yeah.
You know, he's not a small man. He's a big guy. He must go around what, 265 or so.
Yeah, and you take away the 20 pounds from Alpha's hair, and maybe it's a little closer than one would think in the weight.
Well, you take away the 20 pounds for his hair, you still got about 320 pounds of Alpha. It's a big man.
You know, lore has it, wrestling lore has it, that Captain Lou is the one to find the Samoas in the jungle somewhere back in the 70s. Do you have any insight on that, Bruno?
Well, I know that yes, I've heard that he did, but of course he managed them for a period of time some years ago, which had great success. And but they've not only been successful in this country, they've been, you know, everywhere they've gone around this globe, they've had a lot of success.
Albano trying to mount some kind of attack here, had a good arm drag, but now Alpha taking over.
But you know, Greg, Albano made a bad mistake here. He was too far away from center rope to do anything because there was too much time for Alpha between Albano and the ropes for him to do something, and he did, and he came up and caught him with a knee.
We saw Vicious with Dr. Death. You're going to see it with Alpha as well, as he just throws it right out of the ring.
I'm surprised he didn't run right after him, because the Alpha, the Samoans, they love to go outside the ring and use anything and everything that they can find to bash their opponents with. And surprisingly, he's remained in the ring after he drew Albano in.
He has actually been pretty mild by Samoan standards so far.
You can go by Albano. I don't think he would agree with you.
Has three nephews, Fatu, the Tonga Kid, Great Kokinda, a son, Samu, who also wrestles, and of course his brother Sika, the Wild Samoans.
That Samu, he's a tremendous. I don't know if you've ever seen much of him.
Yes, I have. I've seen it.
Tremendous talent. They're all good. I mean, all the whole family. I mean, they're all tremendous in that ring. All tremendous competitors, no question about it. But Alpha and Sika, for years, they were a very dominant force in professional wrestling.
And Alpha continues to be, as well as Sika, as he knocks down Albano, making it look very easy. And there's some of the viciousness. A headbutt into Albano.
And that's not a normal head that you get buttered with when Alpha gives you a headbutt.
It's like a cement truck hitting you in the head.
Exactly.
Yeah. And Albano trying to mount his own headbutt. He's not going to win, though, in that battle, that's for sure.
Well, he ducked the chop. Now let's see. Oh,
mistake, though. The Samoan drop, one of the devastating moves we've seen over the years from these gentlemen.
And it always winds up into a pin. I've never seen him execute this Samoan drop to where an opponent got away from it, escaped it. Always wound up in a pin afterwards.
Well, you talk about some people to reckon with for the UWF Television Championship. Remember the name Alpha.
In the corner with his rubber bands, it's Captain Lou, and he's next.
Yes, sir, wrestling fans. This week it's Captain Lou Albano back again with the Captain's Corner, and I'm going to interview, not too delightfully so, I should say, Bob Orton. I'd like to ask you a question, Bob Orton. What is it? What's the influence that your manager seems to have over you? It seems that when you're under the influence of that devious half with John Tolis, you seem to be to go his way. What is it?
I wouldn't say I'm under the influence. What I'm under is the advice of a very intelligent wrestling manager, a man who's been around the world of professional wrestling for many years, a man who knows what he's talking about. So yes, I'm going to listen to him. And by the way, the reason John's not here today is because I heard through the grapevine you asked specifically for John Tolis not to be here because of the way he outwits you.
Well, it's not the way he outwits me. It's because when he came up before the commission in Universal Wrestling, they said that John Tolis definitely had a certain air about him, a certain arrogance about him that was very provoking and aggravating to the public. So they wanted you alone or me alone, but they did not want Joe Tolis out here at the time. They said the man was an agitator. What do you think of that?
I think that the reason people are upset is because they're jealous. You see, John Tolis is arrogant because he deserves to be. People sitting out there watching this show sometimes, they deserve to be nothing, which they are. So when they see a man like John Tolos, of course they're upset.
Well,
of course they're
wait,
offended.
wait.
Think how they feel when they're looking at me, the greatest technical wrestling talent in the world today, or that has been in the last 7 years.
Well,
I've been around that long, you know.
7 years?
Yeah.
I think a little bit longer than that. But don't you feel you and John Tolos both owe the public out there, some of you, right down in wrestling instead of interfering with John Tolos, instead of cheating the public out of what should be? Don't you think it should be Bob Orton alone in there?
What we give the public is what they deserve. What we give the public is what they expect out of us. We give them good, solid, hard wrestling. We give them people we beat laying in the middle of the ring. We give the people exactly what we're supposed to.
Yeah.
Exactly what we're supposed to do.
What you're trying to
and
say?
What I love to do. Beating people up, twisting them arms until I hear them pop. Love to hear people scream.
Well, what you're trying to say, it's all an optical illusion, but when I say that's a falsity, that's a falsehood, it's not true. He does interfere in your matches. I don't know that you need it, but I'm surprised that you just have a little more decency and be a man enough to go in there on your own without the help of John the Geek Tolos. Now, ladies and gentlemen, it's the end of Captain Lou's Corner.
Sounds
I'm
like
sorry
sour grapes,
I
Lou.
had to have
Sour
him out
grapes,
there
Lou.
this week.
Listen up, knuckleheads. We're the world-famous Power Twins. We hear some of you morons got some questions about us. Well, today we're going to answer some of them. You ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
First of all, people want to know which is which is Dave and which is Larry.
It's none of your business.
People also want to know which one of you guys is stronger.
It's none of your business.
They also want to know which one of you guys is faster.
It's none of your business.
They also want to know which one of you guys is better looking.
That's none of your business.
People keep asking these moronic questions all the time. All you idiots and morons have to know is we're going to be your next tag team champions.
Welcome back to Feet, Fists, and Fury. I'm Craig DeGeorge, along with Bruno Sammartino. From the Penta Hotel, the Hotel Pennsylvania, now known in New York. We will be coming back here, by the way, for those of you interested in seeing us in person on Friday, May the 10th. Friday night, May 10th, right back here at the Hotel Pennsylvania. As you take a look at Corporal Chris Michaels and a big tag team with Tom Brandi and Bruno, the opponents here, perhaps the top tag team in the UWF, the Power Twins.
Well, the Power Twins have shown that they can do it all in that ring. They are big. Again, they're big, powerful guys. And I'll tell you what, they work so well as a team, as well they should. They've been together all their lives. And you talk about twins. Often, how can the referee not make a mistake when we ourselves can distinguish the two? They're so identical that they make these tags sometimes that you don't know who belongs in there. I mean, they really know how to do it well, and they get away with an awful lot, and of course puts the opponents in a great disadvantage.
Yeah, you turn your head on these guys, and you really have a problem distinguishing Larry and Dave.
Absolutely, because if the referee just for a second, immediately these guys make a switch on you, and there's no way of him telling. But well, we'll see. We'll see what Michaels and his partner, Brandi, can do with these two powerhouses. There's a lot of difference in size here, too. I mean, these guys have a definite weight advantage. I mean, look at these two guys around the 300-pound mark against two fellas who are, what, about 220 and 230?
Yeah, they'd be lucky to get near 500 pounds. The other guys are 635 combined weight. The Power Twins, by the way, their manager, Rick Golden, we understand, is out scouting new talent. He's in Europe. And maybe he's looking for new leather outfits also. Not sure of that, but he is not with us.
No, I think he's going to be gone for a couple of weeks. But before long, unfortunately, he's not going to be gone long enough because we will be seeing back before too long.
Put him on a permanent vacation, eh?
Right.
All right, Larry or Dave here hooking up with Tom Brandi.
Okay, he's got a double wrist lock, but can't hang on to it.
Hey, coming up next, Bam Bigelow. Yes, sir, making his UWF debut against the ace cowboy Bob Orton.
Bob Orton, of course, managed by the Golden Greek, John Tolos. There's another guy out there that you could really trust. You could really trust. Can you imagine an opponent there with Orton, who was such a talented wrestler, and then you have to worry about Tolos out there, who, of course, will never keep his nose out of what's going on in that ring, especially if his man is in some kind of trouble. You can always depend on Mr. Tolos to stick his nose in.
Randy hooking up with, we'll call that Dave, I guess. Bruno?
You call him what you want. I'll call him one of the Power Twins because I sure as heck don't know who it is.
Power Twins yet to...
You know, you mentioned the Tolis, John Tolis, when Chris and John Tolis used to wrestle. These guys were not twins, but they used to look so much alike that really they used to pull some of the stuff because those guys, they knew they were great wrestlers, but they also knew every dirty trick in the book.
Talk about sticking your nose in, Bruno. Go ahead.
You know, Bruno, you're absolutely right when you're talking about the Tolis brothers.
Now, where'd you come from? I didn't even see you. Why'd you sneak up on us?
Well, let me tell you something. I thought I'd come by and put a little class in this program here. Let me tell you something about the Tolis brothers. Because when they were in the ring, they were the best. And sure, we were rotten, mean, dirty. We didn't care, man, because all we wanted is, as long as you spelled our name right, T-O-L-O-S, man, that's all we cared about. Call us what we wanted. You have to admit that we were the greatest tag team combination in the world.
You were a great team. What I resented about you and your brothers, you were a great team. You were talented, no question about that. But you guys were sadistic. You were vicious, and often you took advantage of people when it was absolutely unnecessary. And that was the thing about the Tolis that I absolutely did not appreciate.
Gentlemen, I know you're bickering back and forth here. We got a match to talk about. Did you see that clothesline? And these are guys, John Tolis, that you're going to have to deal with down the road with that tag team of yours, perhaps, Orton and Cactus Jack. What do you think of these Power Twins?
Well, Power Twins are good, but they're not compared to my men, Cactus Jack and the great Orton. And, you know, I'm going to tell you something. The next match, you're going to see my man, Bob Orton, and you're going to see the debut of this Bigelow, Bam Bigelow, whatever his name is.
Well, he's going to have his hands full.
Pounds. I heard a lot about this Bam, but I'll tell you what. He's also heard about a lot about Bob Orton and the Golden Greek. It'll be a great match, there's no question about it, but I assure you that the great Bob Orton will have his hand raised up in victory.
Well,
no question about it.
Yeah, but what I want to ask you is Bigelow going to be wrestling Orton, or is he going to be wrestling the combination of Orton and Tolis?
Let me tell you something. Bigelow will be wrestling Orton because Orton does not need the Golden Greek's help in getting rid of Bigelow, believe me.
All right, talk about getting rid of. Why don't you go and talk
you made your point, John. I mean, that's it, okay? Do you mind let us do our work here? Boy,
you know, you think the guy a match before his man's going in is going to be talking to him, getting him ready, getting him confident, and he's got to go in on a broadcast here. Meanwhile, the Power Twins just doing a number on Brandy and Michaels with some terrific clotheslines.
I'm glad Tolis is gone because I don't trust him behind me, Greg. This guy's a real sneak. I mean, you know, like he told you, him and his brother were tough, but you can't trust him. I never trust him. I don't trust him now behind me, so I'm glad he's gone.
He is the Golden Greek. Power Twin takes him down with a body slam. No, he's not ready to put him away.
Well, he could have pinned Michaels at that point. Michaels is a tough competitor. He's a very aggressive kid, a gutsy kid. I give him all the credit in the world. But against these two guys right now, he's taking an awful pounding.
Boy, here comes that. Oh, I thought he was going to get ready for that power ending, but he slams him down. And this is one of the most effective. If they do this here, Bruno, it's one of the most effective moves I've seen in the UWF.
Now watch this. Got him on a backbreaker. Look at this. An elbow from the second rope. Now, you know, Michaels, this is curtains. This is a pin here.
Well, they call it the power ending, and you just saw why. The Power Twins, they have to be among the best here in tag teams in the UWF. And once again, they are dominating. And again, they are just not letting up.
Is this necessary? The guy's down. The match is over. Both of them were stomping on him. Power Twins.
What will Chris Michael? I don't know what he's going to tell his troops, but the Power Twins victorious, and coming up the big one, the Ace and Bam Bam.
It's another installment of Ask the Wrestlers and a chance to take home a free UWF t-shirt and cap if we use your question. And this show's question was sent in by Dorothy Corprew of Philadelphia, who was curious to know when and how the UWF got started and how it differs from other wrestling organizations. Here's Herb Abrams to answer.
Dorothy, we've got many questions very similar to yours. How and when did the UWF start? The Universal Wrestling Federation was formed by myself back in last summer in July. We had a big press conference, August the 26th in New York City, announcing the formation of this new federation. And the basic purpose of this federation is to have wrestling go back to basics, the way wrestling used to be back in the 50s and the 60s. That is why the Universal Wrestling Federation has retained the services of past wrestling greats such as the Golden Greek John Tolis, Captain Lou Albano, and living legend Bruno Sammartino. We have gathered our talent scouts around the world and around the country to bring in the finest wrestlers in the world. Greats like Steve Dr. Death Williams, Terry Bam Bam Gordy, Bam Bam Bigelow, Paul Mr. Wonderful Orndorff. New tag teams such as the Power Twins, Steve Ray and Sonny Beach, Wet and Wild. Many, many great wrestlers coming to the UWF. Back to basics. That's what the UWF is all about.
All right, Bruno, the big one we've been waiting for. We heard from told us what's going to happen. We'll find out ourselves.
Indeed we will. This is going to be a great match because you do have two great competitors here. Here's Bob Orton now. This guy, can't take this away from him, and can't disagree here with Tolis. When you talk about Bob Orton, you're talking about a guy who really is a tremendous wrestler, comes from a great wrestling family, and also he knows every dirty trick in the book. And of course, John, who had such a reputation himself, I'm sure that he's contributed to Orton as far as any trick that Orton may have not known about. You can bet that Tolis has taught him.
But may I point out that his opponent is one Bam Bam Bigelow, making his UWF debut, certainly recognized as one of the most agile big men in wrestling. He tips the scale at nearly 400 pounds, yet when you see this guy move, Bruno, you think he was 120.
Now, for a big, huge guy of 400 pounds, as you say, he's extremely agile. He certainly is very, very quick. He knows his wrestling. He's strong. So Orton is going to have to use all his wrestling skills, plus every dirty trick that he knows or that Tolis may have taught him, because he's going to need them all against this guy. This is a big, big man.
Due to the length of our card here on the program, Brian Blair's match against Brian Donahue, scheduled for this program, has been rescheduled because of time constraints. We'll have that one for you next week here on the Fury Hour. Well, right now, Bruno, I am really looking forward to seeing what Bammer can still do. Haven't seen him in quite a while. He still looks terrific, and I know he can still move.
Oh, of course, because he's been wrestling. It's not like he's been inactive. He's been wrestling. He's been overseas a lot. He's been wrestling in Japan a lot. So that the guy, you know, it's not like he's coming off a long layoff. That one has to question as to how rusty may be in that ring. He will not be rusty at all. And, of course, Orton knows this. And Orton's going to be, well, here goes Tolis, giving him advice. Tolis will do a lot here, I think, in my opinion, to distract the big man. He's going to do a lot to distract Bigelow and to irritate him, to get him to lose his game plan in there so that Orton will have the advantage.
Bam Bam Bigelow was telling me, Bruno, that he wrestled in front of 63,900 at the Tokyo Dome in Japan, and he's known as Crusher Bam Bam there.
Well respected in Japan, no doubt about it.
And he says wrestling's a little bit different in Japan. Did you find that? You've gone overseas.
Well, yeah, I wrestled in Japan a lot through my career, and those Japanese wrestlers, they're tough. You know, they go through like a minor league system before they come to the pros. So there's no questions. There's no easy pickings in Japan. They're all tremendous wrestlers, all tremendous competitors.
So you talk about not being rusty. Bam Bam, in fact, could be in the best wrestling shape of his career with all the competition over there. Well, hey, don't forget, Bruno, just want to get this in again, that the big Rumble in the Sunshine State coming up next Sunday, April the 7th, 1 o'clock, Universal Studios. And, of course, if you're in southern Florida and you can't make the trip up, we can catch you at the Fort Lauderdale War Memorial Auditorium on April 6th at 8 p.m. We'll have some great elimination matches. Bam Bam Bigelow among those on the card there.
Yeah, that's going to be a great, great show. Looking forward to it. But right now, what we're seeing in that ring is that we're seeing Bigelow absolutely not rusty at all. But then, as you said, coming out of Japan, he should be in tip-top shape. But keep in mind that Orton goes back and forth as well. So both of these guys, they're both in really in peak condition and both in great shape. And this is going to be a match where there's going to be not a lot of rushing. As you see Orton, he's not rushing into anything. He's being cautious, he's being careful, and he's going to try to capitalize on any mistake that Bigelow might make.
He's certainly taking his time here against Bam Bam Bigelow. As you see Tolis throw a hat, again being bothered by the crowd here, the sellout at the Penta. Looked like Orton tried to pull off one of the tattoos from the head of Bam Bam Bigelow. He has over 100 of them.
Is that right? Over 100
that's what he told me, yes.
Well, I guess with the size of that head, you could put in 100 tattoos. He's a big man all over. Let's see, Orton behind him, behind Bigelow. Let's see how he breaks off. Whoa, he's going to go through strength. Look at this.
His power's his way out. Look at Bam Bam Bigelow fight out of that hold. And Orton can't believe it. And now he's saying he twisted his finger, and it looks like referee Dick Kroll is buying that.
Wow, I think he just showed the awesome strength that he has because he powered his way through. I think he just grabbed his hands and pulled him apart. And Orton doesn't want to admit to that because that's to suggest that Bigelow's a stronger man, because I doubt if Bigelow hooked Orton like that, that Orton will not, no way could he break away the same fashion.
Bam Bigelow, 390 pounds, as you see Orton again consulting with his manager.
Yeah, but you know what? Tolis can tell him anything and everything he wants, but ultimately Orton has to go in there and he has to get the job done, and it's not an easy thing to do against a guy like Bigelow.
And you wonder about the crowd factor here, too. Obviously, backing Bam Bigelow. Now Tolis has stepped up to the ring, getting his 2 cents in again.
Well, see, now there you go against Tolis. Now, what right has he got to be in the apron at ring? Now, and look at the referee. Come on, ref. You got to do more than that. Don't just be casual. You know, Tolis got no business there at all. And I would say to Tolis, you do that again and you're gone, pal. Back to the dressing room.
I'd like to see you say that to him and see what develops. He doesn't like anything said to him.
Nah, I'll tell you. Well,
all right, Orton getting a couple of shots and a couple of good chops on Bam Bigelow. And now another one.
They threw some good left, jabs. Then he comes with a right, and it looked like it stopped. Whoa! He comes back with a big headbutt and some shots of his own.
And they are clubbing back and forth. Now the headbutt there rocks Orton backwards and outside the ring and out. Talk about power, Bruno.
I like to see Bigelow catch Tolis with one of those headbutts. See how John would react to it.
Now Orton and Tolis have been trying to get their heads together, but Bam is the guy who's really using his head here.
Well, don't count Orton out, though. I mean, I've seen this guy for too many. He's been around a long time. He's a veteran. He can take an awful lot. He's cagey. It takes more than that to get in. Look at this. This is Alaploy here. This on his knees, shaking your hand. Look out, Bigelow. Don't fall for that, because this is typical of Orton's psychology in that ring here.
Looks like Bam is considering, he may shake his hand.
Mistake. Don't do it.
He did shake his hand. Oh, but he caught him.
Backfires on Orton. Atomic drop. Boom.
And atomic drop into the turnbuckle. So Bigelow looked like he did shake, but he knew there was some chicanery going on there. And he held the foot nicely of Orton and then had the atomic drop. Orton could be in trouble now. No, he puts the boot up. Well, this has been what we expected.
Well, a move like that's dangerous. I'm surprised at Bigelow. He throws Orton way across the ring, then he's going to charge him like that. Orton's too clever. You're not going to catch him that easily.
Here's a great clothesline. He nearly knocked him down the first time. And then with some good authority coming off the ropes, Orton showing that he is giving up a lot of weight, but he can certainly stand in there with Bam Bigelow.
He went down hard in that clothesline because when he came charging to the corner and Orton caught him with that foot, that stunned him pretty well. So when he got on his feet, he was still kind of wobbly, and that's why that clothesline was so effective. Now look at this. Look at
Tolis is pulling Bigelow back. That might not be a good idea. But he does have him in a good position. He's knocking away the back.
Now look at this. Now you talk about having to worry about not only your opponent in the ring, but when you're the likes of Tolis outside the ring, you got 2 opponents. Referee didn't see any of it because Orton cleverly distracted him away from what was going on the outside.
Tolis may get away with that, Bruno, because I don't think Bam realized that it was Tolis delivering the punishing blows.
Right now, Bigelow's in trouble, no question.
Looks like the game plan, Bruno, is working. We saw the Orton talking over with Tolis several times throughout the match, and it appears to be working to perfection here.
But you know something, Orton's taking his time a little too much here. And you don't do that. You got the guy in trouble. You got to be on him like a lion. See, now look at him. Here's Bigelow. He's back. Give him time. You give him time to recuperate. He was going
off the ropes. Clothesline to the back. Twisted around Orton. Oh, there's a neck breaker. And now he could be in trouble.
It was a flying mare eye catcher and reversed chin lock here. But that, he's big, he's strong, but that's not going to be enough to do some serious damage to a guy like Orton. Orton will escape from this. Listen to Tolis. Don't get up. He's going. In one word, insinuating he's choking, but as you can see, I don't think he is choking at all. He does not have the arm underneath the chin. It's right at the chin level. He's putting pressure on the side of the head. He's using his shoulder and his forearm, and he's putting pressure on the side. So he was not choking. Tolis is wrong. Of course,
now, is he trying to apply a sleeper too, Bruno, or no?
Well, from that position, it's very difficult. He
there.
doesn't have the proper position or leverage.
A club to the back again. Bam Bam again will be in Fort Lauderdale War Memorial Auditorium coming up this Saturday, April the 6th, 8 p.m. as the UWF continues to rumble throughout the Sunshine State. We'll be at Universal at 1 o'clock next Sunday. We're going to take a break, and we'll be back with the remainder of this match in just a moment. Craig DeGeorge back with Bruno Sammartino. By the way, they will crown the UWF Sports Channel champion in the Beach Brawl on June the 9th. Fans in Florida, we will be announcing in a few short weeks just where that will be taking place. Certainly around the country, you can catch it on pay-per-view, and that will be a special one to catch. Right now, we're resuming the rest of this match. Bruno, Bam Bigelow and Cowboy Bob Orton, and I guess if you looked at it, you'd have to pretty much say it's been even. Both have had their shot.
Yeah, back and forth. Beautiful drop kick right now by Orton. But, you know, you just mentioned the pay-per-view. I can't tell you how excited I am. I'm really looking forward to that. Because look at this drop kick by here, a 400-pound man. Now, that's something.
And what's exciting, too, Bruno, is we will be seeing the event sort of develop in front of us over the weeks with the elimination tournament. And we will have the seedings in the coming weeks as well, just to see how things are going. Matches are going on as we speak all across the country. But and eventually we'll get down to 2.
Yeah, Craig, but there's so much great talent in UWF right now, so much great talent that how could you even begin to guess as to who's going to wind up in the finals here and the winner? I mean, you know, it's amazing.
And of course, the pay-per-view available on Cablevision systems around the country.
Cablevision, that's right, Cablevision systems. And I think we're going to have a lot of people going to want to see this new champion that will be crowned because people do recognize the great stars. Yeah, and we just saw what Tolis just did here.
Well, no, I believe Tolis just handed a foreign object to the ace. And very difficult to see. Orton, oh, yes, he did. Orton just hit Bam Bigelow with the foreign object and then gave it back to Tolis.
Did you see how Tolis, did you see what a sneak? He took care of that for the referee not to see it, right? Just made him drop. He covered with his hands, pretend like he was just leaning on the apron.
And how obvious can you get? Orton holding both hands up. Of course it's not going to be in his hands at that point.
I'll tell you. Right now, you heard what Tolis rolling. Go, because he recognized he got the man in trouble. Now that's when you take advantage. You don't hesitate. You don't slow down. See, again, it took Orton too long to come down with that elbow, and they allowed Bigelow to get out of the way. I'm surprised that a veteran like Orton, who's so clever in that ring, he hesitated a little too long, and he allowed the man to get away.
Very hard to see what kind of damage, Bruno, that object did with all the tattoos in the head of Bam Bigelow, but obviously it is shaking him up as he continues to try and reel off the effects here.
I guarantee you these knee drops, these to the forehead are doing plenty of damage right now to Bigelow. That really hurts.
Bigelow struggling to get up all 390 pounds and get on his feet again. He just did, but again, Orton applies the right hand.
But Orton is not going at him with the kind of aggressiveness that he should. Look at the hesitation between blows. You can't do that with Bigelow. Bigelow has great recuperative power. See, he's starting to well, he's absorbing these blows, but he's not going down.
And there he comes back, Bruno, as you said. Orton just had him and didn't want to take him, it appears. Now they're trading rights and lefts. And we get a bell here.
Well,
as you see Bigelow headbutt Orton.
Well, what was that bell, Craig? Was that the time limit?
It could very well be that, Bruno.
It must have been the time limit. It had to be. Because I saw nothing happen because of disqualification or anything, so that had to be the time limit. I'm sure of it. Let's see.
Nothing happened, that is, that Dick Kroll would have seen. And of course, we did catch the foreign object.
But that was earlier in the match, so I don't think it would have been, no. Well, let's see.
Bell continues to go, and again, Kroll having trouble getting in between these two grapplers.
Referee saying the match is over. Knock it off. He says it's all over.
Not very convincingly, however. And Orton is on Queer Street here.
Referee's decision. This bout is a draw.
There it is, Bruno. A draw. Obviously, the time limit. Both got their shots in, and I'm sure both Well, remember who they went against, and perhaps you'll see them down the line.
UWF, the Universal Wrestling Federation, the pinnacle in sports programming.
Where the legends come to play, ESPN Classic Canada.